some knowledge. Bring the people together. Time to make a connection. Feel right. Then come make a connection. Time to make a connection.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Making Connections. This is your girl, Aly. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I hope your weekend is starting off really well. But we got something for you. So hang on. Just stay in the house just one more hour because we got some good stuff going on. And so, as always, you guys see the flyers that are showing before we start the show, different events that are happening throughout the community. There's brunches, there's nonprofit organizations. Fix your hair, Clayton, while I'm talking. Nonprofit organizations doing giveaways, men conferences, women's conferences, all good things coming up. And so, if you missed any of that, of course, you can go back and catch the replay, but you can also find those flyers within the Facebook group for Making Connections. So, look who's on the screen, y'all. Just look. It is Clayton Savage and his wife, Dee. Hello, hello. How y'all doing?
Doing good, Aly. How are you?
I'm doing good. Listen, Dee is staying with us. I love this. And so, listen, I know we got a lot to talk about, but of course, Clayton has been on the show before. Dee showed her face. Looks like she's going to hang out with us a little bit more today.
Yeah, I'm kind of forced into the camera this morning. Hey, everybody.
So Dee, just greet our family and tell them a little bit about yourself, and then Clayton, you do the same.
Hi, Making Connections family. I'm Dee Savage, and there's not really much to tell. I am the everything. I keep everything going. I'm the scheduler, the planner, the cook, the maid, the mother, the nurse. So I just do some of everything. I do a lot of stuff in the background. He likes to put me in the foreground, and I kind of try to stick out because that's where I prefer to be. But here I am. See my face.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to know who's doing, help, who is the strength behind, who we see in the
That
forefront.
would be
So quit saying you don't really do much then, because it sounds like a whole lot to me.
me. It's a lot.
And
You
so,
love singing out.
Oh, see, he's always trying to put me in the foreground. I sing a little bit, I rap a little bit, but that's not what I'm doing. This is about Clayton Savage.
so
We sent
Clayton,
you, hold on, Alan. We haven't sent you the tracks where my new tracks where she's shining on. You know,
oh
she takes
yeah,
a bigger role. She got a bigger role.
okay, I can't wait to hear that.
Okay, D. Now you put that on your list to do.
That's on my list to do. I'll send you some new tracks, Aly.
Okay, I'm excited. So Clayton, tell the people hello, because we missed you a couple weeks ago.
Hello, hello. You
He had
missed
the
me. You
accent.
missed me. Um, you missed me. What? You missed me doing what? What was I supposed to be doing? Something happened.
The New Year's
Oh,
celebration.
oh my gosh.
It's okay.
Oops. Okay. Well, you can catch me again, Ali. You know, I'm always gonna be open for you.
Yeah.
I'm always making new music. For those who don't know, I go all the way back to the Sugar Hill days, and yeah. I'm like one of those ancillary auxiliary Furious Fives, but I was a producer at Sugar Hill, and then I was an artist at Capitol Records, and I just been flittering through the business, for a few decades doing stuff. And I'm still doing tracks, man. I mean, you're still making music. I love it. It's what I do.
So this is a question I always wanted to ask because it's a famous question they ask on TV. So Clayton, when did you fall in love with hip hop?
I love your tone. You did that perfect, Aly. That's right. That's a good question, Clayton.
While trying to get my comment on. because
Oh
nobody
Lord.
said it better than Common. When did I fall in love with hip hop? Okay, I fell in love with hip hop really after I went to Sugar Hill. Um, I was playing music from professionally around 13 and R&B, dance, Rick James, she like to party all the time, and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and and I was it was actually going in the studio with Melly Mel that made me fall in love with it. Really seeing that there was real artistry behind it. There was real skills. It wasn't just a coincidence. It wasn't just an accident. Sure, it can be an accident. I mean, we can get the Duke, daha, daha, daha,
Da ha da ha.
da, ha, 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 ha.
Okay. Come on, B.
We get. I mean, it could be it could be backyard barbecue-ish. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I mean, at the time that hip hop really came out, and we had that Rapper's Delight over top of the chic beat for Good Times. And I felt like they were missing the fact that the two should be together. Like that was the moment that marriage happened to the world. That's when the world fell in love with hip hop, not just And I was kind of defending the chic position, like, but you guys are ignoring the fact that there's musicians playing music up under this stuff, and at Sugar Hill there were musicians, wood, brass, and steel, who actually played the music, recreated the actual track. Now, I mean, I don't know if the original one, the very first version we heard, because we've never discussed it. I don't know if that was really just a sample of the chic. It wasn't sampling back then. You were scratching and looping and cutting and doing a lot of stuff in the studio. You didn't have samplers per se. Or that per se?
Per se.
Oh, my bad.
But your word, your time, your word. We'll use the I word and we good.
but and if you really look at hip hop to this day, it's best served with music up under it. It's generally a track that came from somewhere else, even if it's they're reusing a hip hop track that was out, that was already sampling the track that was sampling the track. I mean, good music, a good song can be reused and repurposed, right, over and over and again. And that's really the trademark of a great track, regardless of whether where the origins of it are or not. It's just, but there's always an origin. And so after working with Mel, I mean, it didn't take long. I mean, Mel's a genius, and we vibed out in the studio. That's why like his solo album is like half me, half him. I mean, I'm doing the music and I'm singing all over it and writing. And he's got quite an open mind. He's a musician, and you'll find that a musician is a musician, whether he's a rapper or a violinist. Like, Mel and I would ride around. I love to say this, in his Mercedes up in the Bronx. The Bronx, Mercedes is very common now. It's not common back in the 80s. We're talking about 84, 85. We up in the Bronx. We could have been pulled over at any minute, and Mel actually looked a little wilder than I did at that time. I was coming fresh out of Virginia Farms, I was Smithfield, you could serve me for breakfast with your mom and she wouldn't even notice it. If he walked in the room, if he was on the plate, she'd be like, is he supposed to be there? And we're up in the Bronx, and he's playing Jimi Hendrix, and that's how I discovered Man of War through him, by the Jacksons. Man of War, Michael Jackson singing that "Don't Go to War No More." I mean, and then and Sugar Hill itself, Sylvia Robinson was an artist. She's a musician. And a very good producer and a songwriter. And none of that stuff would have happened without her ears. And ears are everything. Ears are everything. Steve Jerome was Quincy's original engineer back in the day. And, You know, I know in the song Scorpio, where Scorpio says Steve Jerome, he's the king of the throne. Folks have no idea, you know, how far back and how integrated into soul music, R&B and pop and all of that comes together. I mean, you know, and jazz, you know. So
Sweet. What about you, D?
Oh, I grew up in it. I mean, I was raised by Wu-Tang, as they say. You know,
Right.
I was born in the 70s. I was 10 years old in the 80s, you know, and I love it. I can recite almost all of them raps
boy,
and
can't you?
hip hop songs from back in the day.
Oh
I
boy.
grew up in it. I was enveloped in it. It's really who I am, really.
Let any one of them
Really.
tracks come on, and you know, and you know, I was in a pop world. I ain't even gonna lie, but you know, I've always been a top 10 countdown Casey Kasem kind of guy with my radio stations. So you know, D obviously was exposed to the raw versions of everything, which I was not. So when now that they play and they come on, the raw versions, there's a whole lot of, you know, say what.
He's like, I didn't know that said that. Oh my gosh, did that really
Right.
say that? And I'm sitting up there like blah 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 blah.
Yes,
I'm saying it all.
Yes, I mean, even LL got. I'm like, she cussing everybody out in the car. I got to roll the windows up, close the doors tight, extra tight. Can't nobody ride with us. You know what I'm saying? We about to get arrested at every stop.
However, he does get surprised when some of that classic, what is it, Steely Nash and Dan or whoever
Good
they
God,
are.
what God?
You know, he does get surprised when he might hear me
hold on.
hear me sing some of that old stuff that he's into, some of that
Yeah.
clock stuff. You know, I was exposed to music and I love music, but
Right.
I am a hip hop child.
That's funny what she just said for a number of reasons,
I
on
know.
a whole lot of levels. She called Steely Nash and Dan.
Yes.
You know,
He know who I'm talking about.
Right. And she's exposed to another generation, like with that boom, 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 which is a Steely Dan song.
See, I was right.
That's Steely Dan's track. You know what I mean? And but yeah, she'll pop out with something that's 40 years old. I mean, 40, 50, you know what I'm saying? Some Frank Sinatra. You know, and be on it. You know, she's spread. Just, I mean,
Yes.
just, I mean, anything. I mean, but that's really what being an American is to me. You know, we grew up with everything. If you grew up in America, you were exposed to everything. I mean, everything in America, and everything is hip hop. Hip hop is kind of encompasses everything. It could be anything. You know, it could be, you know, the most florid ballad, string ballad. I mean, that's the beauty and the grace of hip hop. It's analogous to everything. You could you get it right. You know, you get the beat right, you get the melody right. We could take wooden blocks, we can take beating on each other and turn it into a track. You know.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's the thing about it, that it tells stories, you know,
Exactly.
and it helps you, you know, you relate to something in it,
Yep.
you know, and you're like, oh man, I understand, you know, that's what makes you feel it. 'Cause you're like, yeah, that pissed me off too. Or, oh yeah, I know what it was like to fall in love for the first time, you know, all that stuff. It brings in true feelings. It's authentic music. It's, you know, it's real life, right?
Yes. Completely.
If I could, Aly, I really see it as a healer. If we could just get the generations all in one place, listening to everything and realize how it all relates. You know, when I'm talking to your youth and I'm like, here, let me play where that track came from, and I'm still discovering where tracks have come from. You know, I recently ran across Dionne Warwick, and I didn't realize that she had done always something there to remind me. You know, which was done by Naked something, I think, in the 80s. That track, always something there to remind me.
Yeah.
That's a Dionne Warwick track. And we're talking 20 years before they did it, she did it.
Wow.
So we do, we've got some work to do on the blending of the generations, and maybe that'll settle down some of the violence too. But it would be nice to be able to see, pop, mom, and the kids and the grandkids all be able to go to the same show, you know.
In my generation, we were, in
Yeah.
my generation, we were listening to our parents' music,
Yeah.
Frankie Beverly and Mays, we rocking off of that. Beyonce redid that, So I agree. I was influenced by the generation before me, my parents and their music, and we're out there jamming at the barbecues and the family reunions, and we're all getting in. The kids are getting it in
Right.
on the adults' music, and it kind of integrated into our music. And I think these kids want to kind of throw our stuff away, or the stuff before them, or any of the stuff before them. And they,
Right.
like you said, they don't realize it's all connected. And if it wasn't for the stuff before you, you wouldn't be able to do what you do, because a lot of them samples, most of those samples, is from the stuff before you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I think if they really took the time to really listen and sit down, listen to the lyrics,
Mhm.
they would just fall in love with hip hop just like everybody else. They would
Yes,
fall in
ma'am.
love with all the genres. And like you said, I mean, it's so many things, because even when I was asking about falling in love with hip hop, it really was at the family events. It was like the parents might be partying in the living room and the kids were out in the garage, or
Or
they were having
creeping
their
around
own
the corner
parties.
or
The same
something.
music, right?
Yes.
Same atmosphere, in the same place. It wasn't a separation, it was a bringing together,
Yes.
It's funny she mentioned Frankie Beverly because, and right after she was in there listening to grown folks music, Joy and Pain, you got Rob Bass doing that. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? Honestly, I don't know when Frankie Beverly began. I mean, he's
he just always been
I think
there.
that dude. I mean, he's like my mother's generation or something. I'm not even sure, but dude was grown when I was on my way to being grown. I was already looking at backstage at his concerts, and stuff when he would come to Tidewater. Um, being a musician, I was kind of like always behind the scenes. So but he was grown then. I mean, he might he's the Burt. Is he the no? That's Drake. No, that's John Legend. I call John Legend.
What
Oh
the-
yeah, I call John.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
calls John Legend
the
the
Burl Ives, the
Burl
Burl Ives
Ives.
of hip hop. That's the Burl Ives. Oh,
Listen, we need that.
people.
Oh,
Yeah,
listen,
Burl Ives of hip hop of R&B. Yeah, that's he
listen.
need to just go ahead and remake that. I'm Mr. Green Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow. Whatever it is.
See what I gotta put up with? This is real. This is like
This
is how you
is
act for
Clayton
real.
Savage. So, Clayton, what have you been working on recently?
Well, I am working on a soundtrack for a video game that hasn't been released. That's being developed. I don't, I don't even know enough about the makers of it to give you the specific names, and I don't know if I'd really be allowed to. They don't even know I'm doing interviews and stuff. But that's and doing the soundtrack to a video game is very intense. It's different. I tap into a whole different side, the orchestral side. See that? Did you see how I did
I
that?
heard the word.
Did you hear?
Let's just make sure that that's the real way to
Don't. She gonna run the Google on me. She is a Google fact. That's Miss Fact Check over here. I can't
You
throw
mean
a
with the
word out there
orchestra
without
in the
her.
background? I understood.
Thank you. Yeah,
You understood, but is it really a word?
it is a real word.
Well,
Okay.
see, I don't really, say much, because I can make up words on this show. I'll be like, y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I mean. I do that quite
Steely
often.
Nash and Dan. This is Miss Steely Nash and Dan talking to me over here.
Oh, gosh. Oh, yeah. So we might have to cut him some slack so he don't pick on us too much.
Just a little bit.
Okay,
It's,
go ahead, Clayton.
But I mean, there's big sounds. If you listen to the Avengers or and every time you listen to something on television, you're pretty much listening to a soundtrack for something. And so I'm excited to do this because it just taps a whole different side, and then what's called Foley effects. That's the word too. Um, Foley effects are all the sounds that you hear, finger snaps, when someone's walking, doors opening. All There's so much that goes on in the background of commercials and TV shows,
Hmm.
that people aren't really, that enhance and create that experience. Um, but you're not consciously aware of it. When a door closes, you expect to hear the sound of a door close. When you hear when I mean, we're watching an old movie right now because I like old movies, and we're watching the original Odd Couple right now. Now I've learned to not bore Dee with the details, and she will let me know. My God, are we watching this movie? Are you narrating this movie? Are you recreating this movie? You are breaking down every actor,
He
every
will
sound.
talk through the whole.
Let me watch it first. Then we can go back and talk about
Yeah.
it.
I mean, I can't even pay attention to it and see what's going on because he's over there, blah 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 blah
Can
blah.
you rewind? I missed what they said. What they
Oh,
said?
Oh, honey, rewind is my friend.
I mean, there's so much. I mean, but in the development and the production of media, there is so much that happens when you're again, just like we were saying about music. I relate to the ones who came before us that got it right, that we grew up on, no, and the ones that got it wrong as well. So we know what to avoid. I mean, we're watching the Odd Couple, the original Odd Couple with Jack Lemmon, and Walter Matthau. There's, I mean, I'm looking, they use different terminology, but tricolor, colors just coming into you're looking at the choices of the costuming and things like that. Now the sounds are all going on. You're looking at what 1960 something year, and they got it right, and the qualities that are embedded in those movies are the same qualities that you see embedded in the movies that work now. There are inescapable things, when it that make us. I grew up studying theater a bit, and the man versus man versus nature, man versus himself has to be there. You take those things out of anything, and nothing's interesting to us. We don't care what it is. It doesn't care. We don't. We might geek a little bit on either a sound effect or a video effect for a moment, but if you don't root it in something like that, what be it any type of theater or sound or music, it just ain't gonna happen. Even commercials. I mean, the news is embedded in man versus man all day
All day
long, all
long.
day from the time you get up to the time you leave, and that's and they are
Exactly.
top of the hour, man versus man, president versus president. Guess what we just found? We just found old drawers at Biden's. We just found old drawers at Trump. We just found, Obama didn't have no old drawers. So Michelle was there to make sure that she was a proactive, strong woman. It's one of them old Negroes would say she was Michelle was strong and strong,
Oh gosh. Okay, Clay.
proactive.
But you're really right. I mean, it all day long is that's what life is about. I mean, we are living in this world and we're usually up against something. So, that what kind of what draws people to the news all day, but then they don't realize if they watching this all day, it's making them
A little
lose
nutty.
the concept of,
Yep, yep,
what
yep. Yeah,
reality.
yep,
So you
they're in a
gotta
box.
you got to know what's going on, but don't stay in it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's, I mean, but until we can change things still. So I think music helps us to be inspired. Like, I'm not a musician or a writer, but the music that I hear inspires me. It reminds me who I am. It reminds me of my roots. It reminds me that I can be an overcomer. It reminds me that I'm not by myself. You know what I'm saying? So it reminds me, hey, if you can't love this one, love the one you with. Because if you can't
Mhm.
love the one, what's the song? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
The one you want,
If
love
you
the one
can,
you
yeah,
with.
if you
I mean,
can love
because
the one
there's
you
still
want,
value in
love the one you with. Yeah.
loving somebody and allowing somebody to love you. So music is just so many things.
It is.
We're in a we're in the stage where people are successful in music, but they're commercially successful. They have a lot of visibility, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm not a rapper. I'm not a singer. It's like, yes, you are. They throw these weird themes out. Music is a soundtrack to your life. Well, be careful what you listen to.
Oh, that's
Because
right.
your background, your soundtrack to your life might mean your life is turbulent, or just unstable. Um, I believe if you are in front of a camera or on the radio or anywhere where the public is in mass, you're an entertainer. You have some responsibilities. I don't criticize art. Um, I don't put any shackles on creativity. I mean, we're at a day and age where whatever you're thinking, you can actually say. You can literally say it.
Whatever
You
you
know,
think.
I don't know if Beethoven had clean and dirty verses to his music. Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that a bitch? But when you hear it, you're thinking, that's probably what he was thinking when he wrote that. You know what I'm saying? Hard times, no matter what it was, I don't know what he was writing back in the day, but I'm pretty sure he had some challenges in it, and that's where that song came from, and that's where good music comes from, and good art comes from challenges. You got no challenges and no struggles, you don't have good comedians,
Right.
and generally there was a rule in hip hop once upon a time where, while yes, it is Hollywood and you're allowed to embellish. When you're using the first person, the I, you're telling the story from that perspective, it used to have to be rooted in something real, something you did yourself.
Yeah, not stealing somebody's identity and becoming famous because that person did all the stuff.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
That you say you did.
You're going to do it. Don't do it. Don't say names.
You can do it. Leave it alone. No.
I'm telling you.
I mean, I come from the era of in hip hop and rap. You didn't bite, is what we called it. You didn't steal somebody else's rhyme. You didn't go and try to pin somebody else's stuff. You was original. Right. Everybody had their original sound. Everybody didn't sound like each other. Everybody came from where they came from. But we allow people now to completely take somebody else's persona and rework it into their own. There's one that stands up on top, but I'm not allowed to say it right now. I'm gonna say it one day.
Well, you can say it because the real one's out now. Now that he's out, there's no mistaking. I mean,
okay, I can say it. You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
She said, "You sure? You ready?"
Mad at you? They mad at me.
My biggest problem is we as a community, because I feel like the hip hop world is a community. Okay, we allowed Rick Ross,
dun, 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 dun.
Mr. I ain't never sold no drugs, because I couldn't have sold drugs in order to be a CO at a jail. He listened to Freeway's stories and created a persona, stealing his whole identity to become, and we let him do it. And we bigging him up, and we're, allowing him to be top dog. And I just don't think it's right. That's not what our stuff was built on. We was built on being who we are, and original. He even tried to hang that man up for some of his own real life stuff when he got out of jail. So even though he's doing great, he's out here, he's doing well, he's being seen, his stories being heard or told or whatever, but I just didn't feel like I don't accept him.
He can't ride.
I don't care how good his music is. I don't want to hear it when I see it come on. I hate that some of my faves do music with him because I can't listen to it. It's an issue for me, So there it is. I said it.
So you waiting for the Rick Ross DJ Khaled smash up? You can't wait. A mash up. Sorry, not smash up. Mash up.
That's a whole nother story.
They don't want to.
That's your issue.
They said we couldn't do it.
This show is blessing me today.
So yeah, I just
but I feel you.
believe, that we're accepting stuff that is not necessarily detrimental. It's just not who we are and how we start. And the hip hop community used to kind of be tight and stand on certain values.
You think it misrepresents?
Misrepresents. There you go.
Gotcha.
On the other hand, and there is no real other hand because there's only two hands and she used both of them. So, I mean, the things that they're getting right are worth examining. Why are they successful? I mean,
right.
The audit. I mean, there are words that didn't used to apply to what we did in music as Black people. One was homogenized and others. I mean, this is pasteurized. I mean, this stuff is just, what I'm saying? It's just so everyone's so allowed to call themselves anything once they get a name on it. Once you put a name on it and it markets and you can remarket it. I mean, you got people saying Billie Eilish is doing trap music. I don't even know what to say about that. And then you got the youth that are just so thirsty to make it that they just will, they'll just sign on to anything. Do big T-shirt, Billie Eilish. I'm like, So,
So that brings up a question. So people who are young to the industry or the business, what would you tell them to look out for? I mean, because all they see is this person is making music, this person's doing well, this person says they're interested in helping me. So what would be some of the things they should look out for?
Wow, man.
That's kind of deep.
I mean, it's 2023 and it's a little different than this speech would have been maybe even a year or two ago. I mean, but these aren't my words. I heard them before from another artist or two. And one was to be true to yourself. Mm-hmm. And I guess and that be true to yourself is the root of everything, but also study your craft. Mm-hmm. I mean, be good at what you do and be good at it for the right reasons. I mean, a lot of people say they want to be Bill Gates, but they don't want to work like Bill Gates worked. I mean, Bill Gates was ready when opportunity came. Is he a genius? I don't know. I've never heard anyone call him a genius, but I've heard them call Kanye a genius, which blows my mind because I think there's more than 1 million to 10, I know for a fact there are hundreds of millions of jobs that are the result of Bill Gates' success. I don't know if there's 100 million jobs, and that's resulted from the genius of Kanye. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's the earmark of success is when you're creating opportunities for others. I don't consider anybody successful if I can't create opportunity for somebody else, then you're not a success. If you're the only one in the room that's making money, then your whole team's a failure. You're a flop, and that's that. So, but when I say study your craft, I mean, and I use the Bill Gates reference. It's like you're looking at the success. You look at a Mona Lisa and you think you can paint a mustache on it and call yourself an artist. You don't understand the oil of the canvas, let alone, what was the motivation behind why somebody created let alone understanding that whatever Mona Lisa represents. Was it Leonardo da Vinci that did that? I don't know who painted the damn Mona Lisa. You want to Google that shit?
Sure.
Oh, excuse my French. Was that French? Well, who else? Now we need a producer on our side.
On our side.
That's usually you. Yeah. But I got
but
you
on. But you made
me
sit on the camera, so I can't keep us in line and be on the camera.
No, you ain't got to look it up. I'll take the L. I'll be ignorant. But you've got the Mona Lisa, and you don't realize that she's lasted this long with that mystique. This homely home. I was right.
Yes.
Oh my gee. See what I told you? She always got to fact check me, and that's it. But that you're looking at
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. God bless us all.
God bless us all. God, I'm serious.
Look, I'm down with that for sure.
Mask up out here, people.
Mask online. Tap your daughter and your husband too. But when you're when you're looking at that picture of the Mona Lisa, they think that they're looking at a picture of this woman, and there's something mysterious about it, but they're really looking at how a reflection of the artist. You're not
Mm,
looking at Mona Lisa. You're looking at the work
right.
of Leonardo and all the mystery that and all the fascinations that's lasted these years with it that have created what I consider my ultimate goal is to create something that is priceless. That each time you listen to it or look at it, you get a different view or you get a different feeling. That's
Mm,
that's the Scooby Doo. The eyes seem as if they're following me around the room when you're looking at a picture. Common sense tells you that it isn't. Every time they're looking at this picture of the Mona Lisa, they're really looking at the depth of the artist that created it, the
mhm.
mystery of that artist. And the ones who want to fake, to pretend to be artists, like I said, they want to grab Photoshop and paint a mustache on the Mona Lisa, grab a template of some sort that someone else created and act like it's all me. Everything you hear is all me. You got the whole Drake thing. It's all me. It's all me. It's like there's no such thing as all me. It takes all of us to make something, to create something and turn it into something. And you have the history of, if nothing else, the history of where paint came from. Even if you are painting this day, in this day and age, you go out and buy some paint right now, it came from somewhere. Everything came from somewhere.
Right.
And
All painting different.
so
I mean, all paint's not the same,
no,
the texture of the
and
paint.
how we got there, and there's
Right.
thousands of types of and textures, and that's how rich and deep it is, and I don't approve of this just the superficial layer that we're presented with now. There is just a plethora and a depth, and then there derives the richness of it all, and then you start to see the continuity and the unity, and one thing about art is it's its own language. You could take someone who's rarely inexperienced and like I called it like the early Taylor Swift and surrounded with these superior musicians that are experienced. And now you got
Right.
when you go to the show, sure you're focused on the Taylor Swift, but do you know that there's all that equipment and all the intelligence that's gone into creating, that gear that's up there, and then the talent of the musicians, the talent of the sound men, the talent of the light men, what I'm saying? I mean, just the way that the whole theater has been created and crafted and constructed. I mean, the stage, the position is so much intelligence and talent and skill, goes into even the devices that we're on right now, having this conversation, and to be ignorant of that is to be ignorant of oneself. And so that's what I'm into. That's what I would tell youth. It's like, man, explore what you're doing, do what you're doing, be yourself, but
Right.
find out where it came from, so that there's something up under it, and not just that sauce they put on the food at the restaurant. They don't flavor the meat; they just put
They just put the sauce on top of it.
Don't just be the sauce on top of it.
That's good advice. And I was just thinking about, I don't even remember who it was. It was a local person. And I think they had done like back in the day, do your demos and things like that. And um, I think, like I said, it's been years ago, but we heard the song and it was really good. But like when we heard the person singing without everything behind them, it was
Mhm.
like, is it your demo?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, wait,
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
let's try to take two. Let's try this again. Let's hear your voice. So
Mm-hmm.
you're right. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's there's a lot of stuff that can help you
Mm-hmm.
embellish.
That track is like you got home and they took off the hair extensions, they popped out the contacts, took off the fake nails, the Wonder Bra. You know what I'm saying? The booty blesser, whatever that thing is back there.
We know, we got booty blessings.
Thank you, Aly.
Too far.
Thank you. They took off those
All their enhancements.
took off those stilettos and that butt dropped to the floor.
And it was the real deal.
And it was a real like, you're not who are you? And that's what it's like when it's great that we could create. That's why I say that I call music Hollywood now. it's weird that no one stops to, but it doesn't seem like it's proper to think about how did all this get here without all of these auto tunes, and you've got so much artificial intelligence now in music where someone doesn't have to play, doesn't see the impetus to foreknowledge is no longer there. It's just make the sauce, just make the
Make
sauce.
the song.
And that takes me back to the talent of the people who worked hard before us. The Aretha Franklins, Tina Turners, the Anita Bakers, all of them people, Stephanie Mills, all them people, they were hard workers. They had to put everything they had into their talent in order to even get in front of someone to be heard. And even with all that work, just because you got in front of them didn't mean that you made it. And even after somebody signed you, you still had to work hard. It was talent and it was hard work from the musicians, the singers, the like he said, all the people that do everything to put it together. But our pioneers, they worked hard.
Yeah, yes, Lord.
Okay. And they didn't, nothing was handed to them. It was pure talent and hard work. And that's missing today. So that's my two.
Yeah, that's rock and roll. That was rock and roll. You didn't do it by yourself, and you sat there with some other guys that you may or may not really have liked, but y'all vibed out and y'all grew together. Color didn't matter. It's what you brought to the table.
And you were so good at your thing that you could walk in a room with people that you have never met before and play and sing, and it's orchestra.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
well put. Gold star for D.
Whoop, whoop.
That was well put, and it's true. It's just true, and that's
Right.
about the language of it is that now you could take someone who's on their way to being super, but just maybe has that gift that catches the eye of the public, and so they become the focal point. Because something about being humans, you need a focal point. You can have like nobody knows what doobie you be, but they know Michael McDonald. But the Doobies were around a long time before Michael McDonald joined them. At the same time, Michael McDonald was singing background on a lot of tracks, that are very popular, and that's what that smorgasbord of collaboration that was happening back then that's so rich. It still happens now, there's always more people making a track than you realize.
Right.
The Kiki song I use that as an example by Drake. Man, it's like 9 to 12 songwriters on Kiki. Do you love me? Do you want me? It sounds like you could make it by accident. like you ain't got your. I need my Kiki. I'm locked out the door or something. I'm trying to get in there. I need my Kiki. Do you hear me? Y'all want me? Can you grab
And it
me?
was 9 to 12 people writing that?
9 to 12 writers on that.
Okay,
And
okay.
I don't know why. But you know what though, Aly? And in all fairness, if I had a verse and I asked you what you thought of the song, you said, well, maybe you should say that. That makes you a writer. And in all fairness, I would give you your credit for that. You know what I'm saying? Because you help. Now, there's a lot of people that would not have done that, and then there's people who've also, which is why you got to watch out who you have in the room with you, because they think they're contributors. I was in the room too. I helped them come up with that.
There.
I was there. When he said that, I was the one that said, yeah. Pow. I was giving the high fives. I was eating pizza too. I was there.
Right.
And so they want to be, and those are the fakes that we got to watch out for on the phone. They have ruined this. They've ruined everything. They false advertising, man. They'll ruin a date. They'll ruin a wet dream. These people are just terrible. It's just constant. Again,
His face.
There's that look.
And look, Aly, I've been doing it so long, he could feel it. He don't even have to
Right. He knew it was
things happening.
Man, I keep saying that, and if I ever get a chance to just be myself, if I ever just turn the camera on 24 hours a day and just be myself and let them know what comes out my mouth all day long.
I'm the filter for Clayton Savage.
I was gonna say, would we be able to view it? I don't know.
That's what I would like. That's what I would like. I mean, I have an opinion. You know, I've been on this earth 150 years. I got some strong opinions about
Very
things.
strong opinions about things.
You know, grown man.
Well, listen, give us your opinion on losses because we definitely want to play that before we get off of this interview. So set it up for us. Tell us what we're going to be listening to.
All right, listen, it's crazy, right? Like as a dude, right? Okay, there's reality, and then there's what you think is happening. You know, it's like one thing about dudes is it's like they miss the memo when it's over. We didn't know, you know, we still coming to the door. Key, can you let me? You know, I'm trying to get in. Are you calling? I'm here. I am. I'm still calling. You know what I'm saying? I'm still showing up. So this is a dude that basically, you know, he missed the memo. He thinks just because he's bringing dollars to the table, you know, and he acknowledges that it is important. All of this is going to change if I'm not bringing this loot to the table, like what we're doing, how we live. It'll just all change. But while he's out doing it, he's neglecting everything that's important which is the reason why he's doing it. And so he shows up. He's not catching it. He's hearing she's got a new man. It's over, you know. And then he just kind of shows up one day, like, you know, he's been gone, and he just comes back home, you know. And there's dude, you know, like it's true. I guess the rumors were true.
Right.
And he wasn't happy when he found out the rumors were true.
No.
Okay. So, Alan, if you're ready, let's hear The Losses by Clayton Savage.
My cup, my eyes open wide, and I'm by my side. When money came up broke, I got some money, but I ain't rich enough. Got my hand on the phone, but I ain't gonna die. But a minute since I fucked with you, and I ain't gonna lie. We was having fun, we was turning up. Every night we was getting what I had to do, kinda fucked it up. Baby girl, I'ma keep it real. Without lose this or I'll disappear. No money gon' make us, but I'ma keep it real. I've been looking for a way out, day in and a day out. But the money coming fast, so my foot's on the gas. I got that drink in my cup, my eyes open wide, and I'm by my side. Lord, I know I gotta live like this. When money came up broke, I got some money, but I ain't rich enough. Lord, I know I gotta live like this. You were gone, I was looking for love in the wrong way. Getting love in the wrong ways, in the mountain ways like the old days. When you noticed you were gone, started coming strong. No, I didn't lead them on, but I didn't leave them alone. That's that I've been on. Trying to get a bone, wake out before the dawn. Ain't trying to make no video, just ain't for social media. Put your shoes on, it's time for you to go. I got that drink in my cup, my eyes open wide, and I'm by my side. Lord, I know I gotta live like this. When money came up broke, I got some money, but I ain't rich enough. Lord, I know my. Tell your little story on the internet. Got some pictures you can show them that. Tell them I did this and I did that. That's my baby in the bassinet. Tell them where you got the cash. Cars and jewelry from my stash. I'm locked up and feeling bad, cause you ain't come and see me yet. I'm just being me. I'm just being myself. I ain't wishing you bad, but I ain't wishing you well. I can be swollen, I can be swelling. I ain't saying I wanted you back when I get out of here. We can be rude, we can be rowdy. You can get mad, you can be proud. I think your new dude is your old dude. If you mad, we can get bout it. I didn't know room was true. I didn't know we was through. When I got out, walked in the door, pulled on my ready to sh. I didn't know y'all was cool. All of the rumors were true. Wasn't nothing I did. Get in my car, get in my car. I got that drink in my cup, my eyes open wide, and I'm by my side. Lord, I know I gotta live like this. When money came up broke, I got some money, but I ain't rich enough. Lord, I know I gotta live like this. Lord, I know I gotta live like this. Lord, I know I gotta live like this.
All right, welcome back to Making Connections. You were just listening to Losses by Clayton Savage. Listen on all streaming media platforms. Go get it. Follow Clayton. He's doing a lot of stuff. And so, Clayton, you got any tours or anything coming up?
And I'm trying to put it together, but right now I'm thinking about the summer, and I want to get back overseas. I want to just get on the road. I just got to promote this album. Because every song kind of stands on its own that's coming out. I mean, it's all me, but it's all just a little different. And folks just kind of like you said, follow me. Just follow me on Instagram, CS Red K. That's CS Red K. Is
That's CS Red K.
CSREDK. I mean, it's a challenge. You should
Look, I'm impressed. That's the one he remembers. So I'm impressed. He got that out. He been giving that out. I know you've been getting them followers. Yeah.
I didn't know this. I had no idea. I thought I seen Instagram. I could have meant foot. What is it? Flat top. What is it? Never mind. But
and he is also the Clayton Savage on Facebook.
There's just
Clayton Savage.
I'm always moving forward, Al. It's like, I mean, I got a bunch of music that I've done, but I like making new music, new tracks, and I like telling stories.
Mm-hmm.
That's the root of songwriting for me, or being an author. So I ain't going nowhere, and that's I'm going to try to make stuff that's going to outlive me, but I'm also trying to outlive me. Well, I'll be 151 this year, So
all right, you doing
it's all
good.
good. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? It's all good, man.
Do whatever you feeding them, because you said you was
151. He doing good, right?
Yeah, that's the math. This is Velvet Ramsey right here. Baby Ramsey. Golden Ramsey or what's the boy name?
Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, Golden Ramsey. She a prodigy.
Girl, I'll watch him cook, and I'll rewind and watch his techniques.
And I gotta shut up.
He needs to get on somewhere with that.
Shut up
mess, because I'm watching.
And then come look at this. Look at this. You see that? You see what he does? Hey, yeah. He cooking that. Yeah. That's fine.
We want you to come in the room when we put the food on the table, not when you can say, "Well, did you hear that knife in the background?"
Oh my goodness.
She's trying to, get the technique.
Yeah, I guess that's real, huh?
That's real.
It's coming out. She's sweating coming out the kitchen. Stuff is all sizzling and crackling and popping. I don't need my food to calm down before I get ready to shove it in my mouth. It's making too much noise.
Yes, listen. Well, I don't have to go to Gordon Ramsay's kitchen. I can come to your kitchen, D.
Yeah,
we could put some things together, Aly. I know you could cook, so we could put some things together, Aly.
And I can eat.
Look at her face. She's I don't think so.
You ain't got that one out.
Any one of my family just listen to this, they're like, "Well, I ain't never seen her cook nothing."
Oh, wow.
Aren't you a Southern girl?
Okay, so I don't have children of my own, but I've helped raise some children, and so I cooked when they were coming along. Okay. Get them to football and all that stuff. So I cooked then, but I really don't cook now. But it's not that I can't.
Okay, just because you don't mean you can't.
Right,
okay?
Right.
I prefer not to. If I had my way, I wouldn't be in that kitchen at all. But we
gotta feed the savage.
Definitely. Oh my gosh, girl. Good thing he buys the groceries.
Oh, I love it. Listen, this has been y'all know I love when you're on the show. D, it was really a pleasure you joining us this time. Clayton, don't make it so long the next time, okay?
Girl, I can't wait for you to hear the next tracks. And definitely you got to hear Wristblade with D doing her thing on that joint. Yo, man, I'm trying to tell you, she don't want to do it, but she got it. She got the gift, and she got to use it. I just got to have a mic in the kitchen while she cooking,
There you go. That's hard.
Singing and burning at the same time. Thank
That's
you,
how we
Aly.
do it, though. That's how Southern people do it. We singing and
That's right.
cooking
Getting
and
there,
cleaning.
dancing and singing and cooking. Yeah.
And again, that music is what makes us get up on Saturday mornings, clean the house, wash clothes, sheets, and stuff. We doing it to that music.
Ooh,
Takes us through.
ooh. Aly went back. We're doing the clothes and the sheets.
Listen,
Old Negroes say the
see,
clothes and the
here we
sheets.
go.
Again.
So, so are there other platforms where we should be, keying into other than Instagram?
Just Instagram and Facebook. Instagram
YouTube.
mostly. That's where he's putting everything. Of course, YouTube. I'm sorry. He's got a YouTube channel.
I mean, I got. I am looking for a dedicated camera person to really, commit. And ride.
Any good videographers out there? Hit me up. I'm dsavageredk@gmail.com for any. I'm sorry, he doesn't like me to use that. I'm sorry. That's one of them. I have d@redkrecords.com. I'm sorry.
We ain't promoting Gmail up here.
It's easier to access, but okay. So dsavageredk@gmail.com or d@redkrecords.com for any communications, any questions, any bookings, anything. I'm the liaison, so just hit me up.
Mixes, masters, mastering, remixes. Just talk to the chief here.
Hit her up. Whatever it is you want to inquire about, hit her up.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, whatever you're doing, we can make it better too. We sprinkle a little Clayton Savage on it.
Put a little Clayton Savage on it.
It'll be a little better, a little more better. Even if it's great, it'll be a little more greater. The greaterest.
Always.
Thank you, Aly.
Listen, y'all, I'm gonna go back and watch this video later today because this has blessed me. I love y'all.
Well, we love you too, Aly. Thank you.
Yes,
we do.
So listen, you guys know we are making connections with Aly. We are here every Saturday at noon, every Monday at 2 p.m. Follow us on Facebook. Listen, we have Instagram and YouTube as well, but typically I hit Facebook the most. But again, we're trying to branch out this year, doing some different shows. On Monday, we're actually going to be talking about a new episode we're going to be having on a monthly basis. And so, if you want to be a guest or if you want to nominate somebody to be a guest, you can always go to calendly.com/making connections TV. Listen, we are here to make connections, to connect you to resources, to connect you to a mindset, whatever it is that you need, because I believe that any artist or any guest that we have on the show can inspire you to be the best of who you are, because we want you to show up in the world. You might not be a singer or a producer or songwriter, but you have a gift. So we want you to show up with your gift because your gift is important. Maybe you're that videographer that Clayton needs. Maybe you're a songwriter. Maybe you write books. Whatever it is, we need you to show up. All right. And so Clayton, before we leave, and Dee as well, if you'd like, we always like to leave like one word not one word, but an encouraging word or a message of, I don't know, whatever you want to say.
Well, hope. We doing hope now?
just shut up.
Always.
I'm joking.
Listen.
Everybody be at peace. Just seek peace, and everything else will follow.
All right. And Dee?
I'm just happy to say, we're making connections now. Let's keep making connections out there amongst each other. Let's be there for each other. Let's love each other.
Yeah, like I said,
and be good to each other.
Yeah, and get a piece. Yeah.
And I guess your peace will come if that happens.
Yeah. See, it'll all come together. Clayton. All right. Well, I do appreciate y'all. I am always, if you have concerts or if you have new music and you're ready for it to be played and you want us to play it, absolutely, we're here for you. Absolutely. And so, because we appreciate you and we applaud everything that you're doing.
We appreciate you, Aly. Thank you so much for spotlighting Clayton and giving us this time on this interview. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, anytime. So I'll see you two again soon.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you're in this area when you are touring, I think I told you that when you was on Blog Talk. If you're anywhere close to North Carolina, let me know, okay?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, you guys take care. Thank you for tuning in today. Again, go to Facebook. If you missed maybe you're tuning in at the end, you can always find the replay on the page or even on our YouTube channel. So until next time, as always, we're leaving you with love, positivity, and good vibes. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
Time to make a connection. Yeah, right. Time to make a connection. To be where we wanna be, we need to come together. Drop in some night.